Okay, so for my presentation, I am going to be talking about porn. Um, I want to start off by talking about the relationship to reproductive rights that I believe porn coincides with. I personally define reproductive rights as more than just like birth control, the choice of sterilization, abortion, those kinds of things, and I extend the definition to go to what you decide you want to do with your reproductive organs. So if you want to choose to participate in sex work, then that would be part of your reproductive right. And some history surrounding porn. The oldest found example of sexually explicit material dates back to 5200 BCE. It was found a couple hundred years ago by some German hunters, and there was a statue found of two naked people. So that was deemed the first porn site. And then the term pornography was coined and defined in 1874. It was defined as a description of prostitution as a matter of public hygiene, which is a very interesting way to define porn. And then in 1899, the first film containing a striptease was released, and in this film there was also a scene where a woman takes a bath, and that was the most sexual that Hollywood had ever been, in a film that had been released to the public. And then in 1908, the earliest surviving hardcore porn was filmed. 1908, they probably had different definitions of what hardcore would mean compared to what we have now. So if someone were to watch whatever film that was, now it might have a little bit of a different kind of definition than hardcore, but that is something to take into consideration the time that it was filmed. And then Denmark actually legalized porn in 1969, which I thought was funny and fitting. Some fun facts are about 70% of young teens age 15 to 17 have said that they have accidentally stumbled across porn online. So that's anywhere from clicking on an ad that turns out to be spam and having porn show up on your screen, or typing in a website URL wrong, or opening up a spam email or something. I know I've definitely done that, and that was the first time that I personally saw porn online was because of a pop-up email in my inbox when I was 11 years old or something like that. And then the sex industry, which includes prostitution, sex clubs, pornography, cam sites, and phone sex hotlines, is the largest and most profitable industry in the world. So it beats out technology, medicine, all of that kind of stuff. Porn is the #1 industry in the world. Male performers often don't make as much as female performers. This is one of the only industries where the woman makes more, but men will make more if they decide to do gay porn, and then they'll make up to 3 times as much as they normally would have in a regular male and female scene. And the United States is the largest producer of porn in the world. Second is Germany. So that's not saying that they are the largest consumer, but just that they are the largest producer. So some controversy along with porn is children stumbling across porn accidentally gives them very, very unrealistic expectations. There was this one video that I watched on YouTube where there were about 5 or 6 different porn stars who came into this room, and there were lines taped on the ground that ranged from strongly agree to strongly disagree. And one of the questions that was asked was if these porn stars believed that porn portrayed accurate expectations for sex, and every single one of them moved over to the line that was strongly disagree. And one guy talked about how, when he's filming, he has to think about the angles, the facial expressions, if you are getting the light writing, all of that kind of stuff, but in real life it's much more intimate, so a lot of children aren't going to understand that. They're not going to see that as an expectation if they don't have that experience. Female roles and portrayal in porn is another controversial topic. Many times female characters are, portrayed as very young, very innocent, most of the time they're a little bit more submissive, unless they're older, and if they're older, then they are training a young boy. One of I think the most searched term when looking up porn on Pornhub for last year was teen, which is a whole nother controversial topic, but the fetishization of teenage girls in porn is a very, very big controversial topic. Forced sex work and coercion is another thing. You know, pimps will seek out young girls and, you know, convince them to be escorts and then sell them, prostitution, all those kinds of things. And there are like certain types of porn that will go into that and kind of explore that a little bit more. And then addiction. I actually found many websites that said that porn was comparable to the addiction of heroin and cocaine. And I don't know if you're familiar with the movie Don John, but in that movie, John, who's played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, is dating this girl named Barbara, who's played by Scarlett Johansson. And John has like a porn addiction, and it takes this huge toll on his relationship with Barbara, and she claims that every time he watches porn, he's cheating on her. So that is another way that porn can be kind of controversial. And some solutions are educational porn. You know, it can be really beneficial for students or children in school to not necessarily be shown like a video, but to be shown more than just like the drawings that we're given in these little like pamphlets that we have to go home and talk to our parents about. Just things that are a lot more educational, a lot more open to talk about. There was a show in the UK that kind of went into that, and they had like this woman come in and she talked to a classroom full of students, and she would show them like videos of like a naked body and talk about like, oh, what are these kinds of things in like this person's body, and they were real people, so it wasn't just like a doodle of drawings and those kinds of things. So one that like topic of educational porn was very common in different websites that I found, that they thought that that would be a really strong idea. Also, ending the stigma that sex workers don't deserve rights and acknowledge that they are people is another really important thing. A lot of sex workers and people who decide to do porn are looked down upon so strongly because they have decided that the way that they want to make money and live their lives, provide for themselves, is by doing something that someone else wouldn't do. And at the end of the day, it's your body, it's your choice. So if someone wanted to go into like sex work and it wasn't an element of coercion, then that is 100% their call, you know, it's their decision. And let people have control over their own bodies without judgment. Again, tying back into that, you're not harming anyone. If it's not your body, it's not your business. There's a girl that I went to high school with who has recently started to go like dance at strip clubs. She works as a bikini barista. She will sell photos of her to other people, and her boyfriend is very, very supportive of it because he knows that that's her right, her body. She's still a person. She's still fully committed to him in every sense of their relationship, but she just has a different way of making money than he does. And I think that that is kind of the way that more people need to be thinking and focused around, you know, the stigma of sex workers. It's your body, it's your decision. So I think that that is the most important part. Okay, thank you.